I finally learned to use the autofocus lock, so it should be more stable. And actually, for anyone wondering why I'm making these videos, it's partly because of nature preservation. I don't want to, even though there are not many people watching this, but maybe it inspires someone to see the value of the surroundings, the natural surroundings, and not so that it doesn't get destroyed as fast as it is being destroyed right now. Sorry, my English, haven't spoken for a while again, so it's like a motor that has to be started, I guess. Then on the side I'm apparently talking about the non-dual, so-called non-dual concepts. I mean, even the term non-duality is a dual concept because it has the opposite, even though it's kind of meant to point out the absence of duality. But I don't know if there's any better term for this so-called subject. So the love, unconditional love that can be felt, but not by a character, not by a separate person, that cannot be focused on, because focusing on bliss or focusing on a memory of a bliss or of love or something, that's grasping at a state, and it's also a version at the same time. It's a version of the present moment. So the love has to do more with, like the feeling of the love has to do more with just full relaxation and letting go, and not about remembering some past experience and then trying to get that back. Nor is it even getting some experience of love or some experience of bliss, and then that's already a mental image. Like bliss is in the moment that I am having. And then again, the grasping, this has to do with not grasping as a grasper and not pushing away as someone that is pushing away. So even when there is, even though bliss might appear, if there's that mental seeming activity of trying to maintain it somehow, that's already imagining a future where that state is gone or is degraded or something. And then there's that separate one, the false separate one that is trying to somehow manage that bliss or feeling of love, but that's already grasping, like it was mentioned. So I don't know, that were the two main things, the relaxation I meant to say, and then I also meant to say the previous point that I apparently said. Can I get to the other side from here? Maybe not. There's some, I think last summer and the summer before that, this was clearer, this river here, or whatever you call it, this waterway. But there were some like pink, some kinds of pink something. They looked like corals. They were pink, clearly pink, in the water. But maybe probably they were not coral, because this is fresh water, I think, and we don't have any corals here anyway. So but I don't know what they were. They were kind of cool looking. Okay, let's see. This is gonna be dicey. Yeah. Oh, whoa. Oh, that was surprisingly easy. Wait, I have to do the autofocus thing again because there, because of the lighting. Oh yeah, and so this is paradise, but paradise doesn't have to appear perfect. Paradise includes pain and trash and stuff like that. This mouth says stuff like that a lot, apparently. Can we see any frogs here? Or? Oh yeah, and I didn't even see that. Maybe the brain saw this can here at the end of that stick and then mentioned the trash thing. But that wasn't conscious. I wasn't aware of that. Whatever I am. This I comes later. The final registrator or whatever. The apparent final registrator. There isn't one actually as a separate registrator. And sorry about the wind, I didn't think it would be that strong. But yeah, I mean, that's why I'm making these videos here in these kinds of places, to somehow increase anyone who watches these videos might just feel inspired to do something for nature. The diversity of the apparent natural world, and then non-duality on the side, so-called. I wonder where this path goes. I don't remember if I've been at the end. That's a songbird here. This black one. Oh. Whoa. Wait a sec. Focus. So this so-called character does not want to just stay watching on the side as this nature gets destroyed, like faster and faster, in a faster and faster rate. Although, I mean, maybe more could be done, or more could be done actually, of course, but at least I'm doing something, you know. Let's see, can I get here? There are a lot of some kinds of small flies and maybe mosquitoes, but if there are mosquitoes, they're not stinging, nor are the flies a problem. They're not flying in the nostrils, nor in the eyes or anything. It's just visual at the moment. Whoa. And this light, everything that is seen is actually light. It's sunlight reflected, unless it's night. During the day in the nature, the only thing that is seen is reflected sunlight. That's all. Anything that is seen is reflected sunlight, minus usually the phone screen. That's not sunlight. But prior to both sunlight and artificial light, there's awareness. But even that kind of an awareness that registers sunlight and registers artificial light, that is changing, because during deep sleep it's not there necessarily. I don't know, because there's no memory of deep sleep. But many people, well, I don't know about many, but some people have had the experience of it's more profound than just near death experience, it's full death experience. And there's, in that full death experience, there's still something. It's not a blank, it's not anesthetic, like a gap, or not like a non-gap, or like a deep sleep kind of a non-gap where there's no memory after it ends. There's awareness, but there is no one aware, even when nothing is appearing. No world, no time, no separate experiencer, no awarer. There still seems to be the ground that is not in time, to which or in which time seems to appear. So that awareness is usually what this mouth refers to when it says the term awareness. But then there's the mundane awareness that is unstable, seems to be the mundane awareness that is aware of maybe consciousness, which is somehow part or dependent on consciousness. Because when consciousness is not, then that kind of an awareness is also absent. That the kind of an awareness that is seemingly aware of passing of time and of separate objects. Oh, there are dragonflies here. But there is that ground or nothing space, the absolute, where even that unstable awareness appears to appear. And this term is more like Nisargadatta Maharaj. He talked in these kind of terms. I wonder if the dragonflies are visible on the screen. They're pretty small blue ones. I would like to go there, but it's just mud. I don't know what there is. Somebody has gone here. I'm already standing in mud though, so whoa, but that's freaking deep. Let's see. My shoes are already wet a little bit. Wow, there are lots here. That's a black one, but there's also a blue one here. A blue-black. Could I get it? I'll try to get one. Oh, there's a frog, little frog. Cool. Cool. Small frog here. Can't get it anymore, but on the film. I don't want to step on anyone. Or any one of those. Oh, it's wet. Whoa. Oh, this is a little bit different. There was one dragonfly. These others look like floating sticks, but this one was flying like a butterfly. So that was kind of different. Otherwise it looked more or less the same as the others, but its wing flapping speed was... Oh man, I hope I didn't cover the mic. The wind flapping speed of one of those dragonflies was slower, so it looked like the flying style was like a butterflies. Like I said. Holy crap. It's wet. It's wet. I hope nobody hears me. There shouldn't be anyone here. This is pretty far from any roads or any other people. There are no cottages here or anything. It's just wild, a wild cape. And there might be, I've seen a lot of different, I've seen a lot more, how to say it, I've seen a lot more different bird species than before. Like also today when I was walking here, there was this really cool looking, it was otherwise brown, I think, but then it's the bird, but then its head was like bright red, and it had like a mohawk on top of its head, but like brown, I mean like super red, the whole head. So that was cool. Okay, there are mosquitoes here, but they're not stinging at all. I don't have sleeves on my or my sleeves are up, but still nothing has bitten or stung yet anyways. Okay, I'm not gonna go there. I would need some proper boots to be able to go there. So this is the end of the line, I guess. One can hear the ravens again. I'm at a different location, but pretty near the previous raven place. So they're still around. Yeah, that's all I guess for now. There are fish in the water. Quite small ones. This is the previous coral spot. The so-called, like, quote-unquote coral spot. Can you see the fish? I don't know if the camera sees those. So it was around here that had those pink coral looking plants or whatever they are in the previous years. Oh, there is a fish now at the center of the... It has a red belly. Small fish with a red belly. And there's another striped one. They look like aquarium fish. I don't know what those are. I don't know if I've ever seen these kinds of species in the wild. But I doubt they're new. I hope the camera can catch them. I'll try to get closer here. Look over there. Like so red. What is this? We don't usually have very colorful fish. Some of them are. Salmon at certain time of year is red. But these small fish, I don't know what they are. I guess the males are, I don't know, male or female, male. The other sex is striped and the other one is super red. Oh, there's a bird looking at me. I'm trying to use the focus thing. It didn't register. And there's a squirrel. A big one. Relatively big. Oh, and there's little ducklings here. Maybe people have fed this one, so it doesn't. The mom bird, so it doesn't fear me that much due to having been. Oh, this was unexpected. I didn't see this at all. Now that just appeared. This was a nice little surprise also. I've seen a lot of young animals in these trips, but it's that time of the year that they appear. Uh-oh. Can they come closer? She dares to come closer. Oh, they eat those leaves. It's nice for them in the summer, but in the winter it's really harsh for many animals. Here's one of these fishes. This is a nice little spot. I could come hang out here more often. Maybe bring some seeds. Although those don't need any seeds, they have plenty of food here, it seems. I wonder if they eat fish too. They seem to be vegetarian though. Raven. I hope the camera caught it properly. There's another one. In the other Finnish video I mentioned these super small acrobatic mice that live in these kind of environments. So in Finnish they are, I forgot their names, but their names are, it came to mind later. Their names are peltohiiri in Finnish, which basically means a field mouse or something. So they climb these plants and make nests above ground. Like, I think they, if I don't remember incorrectly, the nests are round, and they make them from hay or stuff like that. And speaking of the nature and of the animals, actually, it's as significant as speaking about something else, or let's say it's as much reality, or it's as much emptiness as are the non-duality words that talk about so-called non-duality words that talk about the nature of reality and nature of suffering and nature of happiness and joy and love. This is, or the topic could be some sport or whatever, war. I mean, war is a sport for some, but for most it's not. But anyway, it's the same reality, the words, and it's equally empty, fleeting. As words, they are fleeting and empty, but as reality, there's nothing that is fleeting, and nothing can be pointed out to be empty or full. Maybe I might be wrong, but because the pointing would have to be outside of reality itself to be able to say that that is empty, that is full, or it's empty and full, or neither empty nor full. But is there anything that is beyond or above or apart, let's say? Is there anything that is apart from all, from what is? I cannot say that. And in a way, I mean, even Nisargadatta Maharaj, he talked about the absolute. And a lot of the time, when he talked about the absolute, I had the idea or the mental image of the absolute to be something separate somewhere, some non-state state or something. But in a way, actually, that's a big tree, by the way. I don't know if it shows on the camera. It's like twice the width of my body, so-called my body. Although I'm not very big, anyway. But I mean, this is the absolute. This is all the absolute. There's only the absolute. There's nothing else. But I don't know if it's glib to say that. Not that anyone says that, but and to say that is that no, that's not ganja. I've seen some ganja plants already here. This looks a little bit like it, but no, it's not. People have grown cannabis outdoors here too. Not in this location, but other locations. Yeah, it's as significant or as insignificant to talk about the absolute or to just stay quiet. Neither is more important than the other in the end, in the big picture, so to speak. This is all stating the absolute, this nature, the falling flower petals, and which are here falling from the tree. Oh yeah, also I've seen butterfly species. That butterfly over there reminded me. I've seen butterfly species that I have not ever seen before. And one was really cool looking. It was like the inner part of the inner half of the wings were turquoise, almost like a turquoise, like a mint ice cream or something, like very light but kind of saturated. And the outer part was, outer half was like, it was dipped. It had been dipped in a orange sauce or something, like orange candy thing. It looked really fun, that butterfly, and I've seen those twice now during this summer. Look, a wasp. I have to remember to shift the white balance all the time, or the aperture of the camera. If I don't use that, if I use the auto aperture, the image gets blurry at times. But if I do it manually, I just have to keep tapping the screen, which I don't mind as such. Wait. Should I show the cows? There are cows over there, over this hill. There are like big fields. But I would kind of like to go here, actually. Yeah, I feel like there are a lot more, again, wind. There are a lot more birds than before here. But maybe I haven't walked during this time. It's early summer now, so. And I don't know if it's a symptom, if it's a so-called good. Nothing is ultimately good or bad, but relatively speaking, when it comes to the nature and wild animals and their thriving and surviving, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. If it's a sign of the environment being destroyed, and then they flock to the remaining places, and then these places get crowded. So that's why there are more birds. I don't know if that's the reason, or if the species have just, if the winters have been warmer and the summers have been longer, maybe that has affected the number of plants and insects, and also the wild animals that are able to survive better than before. I don't know which it is. Could be either. But this is love. Love, love. There's a nest. Kind of a strange looking nest here. Not sure what animal. Some bird maybe, but it's like a... Wait. I'll try to get a better view. It's like a total ball. No, I can't get a view of it. Like, wait a sec, sorry. It's almost like a perfect ball. Spherical. I don't hear any noises coming from that. So I don't know if there are any dwellers in it. And in a way, I don't usually, well, I have talked about God in these videos, apparently, again. I'm not religious or anything, I don't follow any religions as such. I'm interested in Buddhism and mainly Eastern, but also mystical Christianity, and this head is interested in those things, but doesn't really actively follow any religion and doesn't belong to any. But still, these words are like coming about. It's somehow evident that this is God dwelling inside itself. These trees are God. The hearing of these words is God. These words are God. This body is God. And nothing is really separate. There are no separate words, no separate body, no separate God being or anything. Everything is that. The bum in the corner, or the addict outside the store, that's also God. But at the same time, that is right now, that is a mental image. In that sense, it's empty. Imagination also could be pointed out. And ultimately, the ultimate reality cannot be put into words. Like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what God is. I don't know what I is. I don't know what a tree is. I don't know what nature is. I don't know what a concept is. There's just being, seemingly appearing as all this multiplicity. Being that is not singular nor multiple. And the absolute is not visible to the eyes. Absolute is not really visible to itself. Maybe it can be visible to itself as these expressions, but these expressions are all transient and not the real true face. Although at the same time, in a way, there's nothing that is not it. So in a way, all this is the face of the absolute, actually. But maybe then it could also be said that there's no face either. And there are no separate forms. But then again, there appear to be forms, like birds, birding, not a separate bird object, but birding, treeing, leafing, walking, bodying, talking that nobody does talking, but talking appears to happen. Grounding, lighting, sunning, winding. That apparent activity seems to be going on. Appears to. And all that is not separate from God, maybe. Ravens. Ravers. Ravers of the sky. Oh, this is too bright. This does not register. I definitely didn't mean to make any videos, but I don't know, it just happened. There was the apparent urge, not urge, but some kind of a feeling to make this again. Oh yeah, I could show where I was previously. Wait. Where the dragonfly place was. There was a, what is that? Lemon butterfly. Here. So-called lemon butterfly. Flew off. So it was there. I walked around there. Did a kind of a U-turn. The cape, so-called cape, is at the center of the camera now. So I walked over there. That was the place with the frog and with the dragonflies. And then the ducklings were, and the fishes were further to the right there. And was it yesterday or day before I went to Sheep Island, which is over there. And I saw the world, that was in Finnish, that video. I saw the world's largest predatory bird, which is the ocean eagle or sea eagle. It's huge. It has the largest wingspan out of all the predatory birds. So it's a cool sight to see up close, especially. But I don't remember if I've ever seen them close. That was also pretty far yesterday that I saw. It landed on top of the island trees. Not on top of the Lammassaari, the sheep island that I was at or on, but it landed on another island, and there was a viewing area on that sheep island towards that other island that also had these open ocean birds. These large blackbirds had invaded that sea eagle's nesting island. Many of the trees were stripped of leaves, and then there was a lot of white bird crap on the rocks on the ground. And it's a strange sight because no other place gets those birds, those black open ocean birds. I forgot the name in English, but only that one little island, they flocked there for some reason. And they're pretty big. I think they are over 1/2 meter tall. Oh yeah, and also the reason, I mentioned the reason why I make these videos in a previous part of this video, but also for tourism. Anyone interested in, any foreigners interested in Northern Europe, how it looks near Helsinki, or actually in Helsinki. We're in Helsinki now, Helsinki city, but not at the city center, obviously. So let's see if there are no people in this viewing spot that I haven't been to for a while. If there are no people, I can show the island. The island with the world's largest eagles. So it's that little island over there. About at the center of the camera, and also there are some swans in the water, and that to the right is the sheep island, and you can actually see some I think those are cows actually over there to the right. But there are also sheep that are visible to the eye from here, but not visible to the camera now, at the center of the would be cool to see the eagle again. It might be that over there now, actually flying. But there are also these gray cranes, I think. Gray cranes. Quite a lot flying around that island also. So from very far away I cannot tell whether it's that eagle or it's a crane. If it's a crane. And that island is the one with the black tall birds from the open ocean that like to flock there for some reason. Only on that. They're not on the other islands or the other areas. I've been around everywhere here, and that's the only place, which is kind of strange. man, I think I just missed the laughter. Well, did the camera catch it now? Listen, the ravens laugh. Well, they stopped now. Like, wah, 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 wah. That kind of a noise. Yeah, you can see them playing in the air sometimes. That's a raven. The previous one was a crow. I've seen a weasel. This path was a lot smaller, a lot thinner, wilder looking before, and there was a weasel, like a tunnel labyrinth, and the weasel had holes coming out of the ground from different places, and it let me pretty close. I could get pretty close to it before it disappeared in the hole, and then the head stuck out of the other holes after that, and when I got near, then it went in again. That was kind of fun little game. When I was younger, I used to a couple of times play that game with them. I don't know if it was playing for them, if they took it as play or not, but they seemed to not mind. If they would have felt that it was too invasive, I don't think they would have shown up at all. They would have just gone away. But they kept appearing from the ground and then just waiting until I got closer. And I bet these people are trying to film the eagle or eagles, so they are nesting on that island over there to the right, which is not visible right now, but I showed it already. So that island over there. And there are different sea mammals here, like seals and stuff as well. And one can see deer almost every time one walks around this area. They're quite common nowadays here. And there are sheep, I think sheep and cows at least. And what else? Horses, things like that. But wild mammals like badgers, weasels, foxes, deer, and seals. What else? Nothing comes to mind. Oh, I didn't notice this. Jesus loves weed. I mean, yeah, cannabis has shown kind of the unconditional love for me and the divine reality. It has kind of opened the door. But it seems that it doesn't have to be relied on forever, but it can for sure open the view to the divine reality, or to so-called oneness, or prior to oneness and not oneness even. I don't know. And there are many people who have been converted, like they have been converted to Christianity, to experiential Christianity, not just like the conceptual religion, due to having done some psychedelics or have smoked cannabis. Like hard atheists have gotten that divine high, so to speak. and there's no doubt after that that God is real in a way. Although I don't know if God is the right term. In a way, it's not, and no term is the correct term. But there are pointers. One thing came to mind, one more thing. Yet again, the concept of the bliss sheath. So the bliss that covers, the bliss appearance that covers reality, even though it is made of nothing and is not really covering anything. But in Hinduism and in Advaita Vedanta in India, for example, it's pointed out that like there are numerous different sheaths that seem to cover the direct realization, so-called realization of the nature ground reality. And the bliss sheath is one of the last ones. It's called Anandamaya Kosha. Kosha means sheath. So what makes it a sheath is or like a covering, or like a maybe like a diversion for the attention or something. I might be wrong, but this is kind of my understanding, so to speak, that how to say it, there must be still two. It's not yet the absence of two, even though it's always the absence of two. But there's an illusory state of two, of the observer and the observer and the observed, or the feeler and the felt, and that's false. And in that sense, that's kind of a wrongly turned gaze or distorted view of there being an object of bliss that I, the false subject, am enjoying. But that kind of a state of affairs, well, it cannot last forever, although that might be able to last for a very long time. But there's an ignorance in the mind still, in the so-called mind, of there being someone separate from reality, experiencing reality as bliss, which is not the case. In reality, there aren't two, like it's been pointed out. There isn't a different feeling and a feeler of that feeling. And if there's a feeler of that feeling, actually both are insentient in a way. The feeler is a mental superimposition, a certain kind of a mental superimposition, and also the feeling is kind of extracted from reality, and as an extraction it's insentient and transient and an empty object. But when that collapses, that duality, or fades away, or however you describe it, then that's the Satchit Ananda, so-called being, consciousness, bliss, where the bliss or the love, unconditional love, is self-evident, but there's no, it's obvious that it's not appearing to some separate experiencer of it. So yeah.